Exemption schemes basically this allows us to import goods without paying tax, without paying customs duty. First thing is EPCG, which is export promotion of capital goods. You can import capital goods without paying customs duty. The only condition is that since government says that I am allowing you to import capital goods without paying customs duty, you have to export. You have to give a commitment that you will export so much. That commitment is 6 times. Suppose by importing capital goods, we have saved 1 crore of customs duty. Our minimum export should be 6 crores. Over a period of 6 years, we have to export goods goods or services. This can be utilized even by service exporters also. Anybody who is doing export, they can utilize EPCG, whether goods or services. And here we have there is a requirement of So this can be utilized even if you are procuring from locally. Suppose if you have a EPCG license, then you can procure based on the EPCG license. You can procure goods locally also, where we will get only benefit of GST. Okay, so we can procure from local markets under EPCG license without paying GST. But classically, majority of them use for imports. Okay, that is one, and then the other condition is 6 times. So the main condition is that there is it is called nexus. So if you are importing capital goods, saying I am importing XYZ capital goods for manufacturing ABC, then our export product should be ABC only. So if there is no nexus link between your input and output, then they will not consider. Suppose if the same capital goods can be utilized for some other product. The first product, initially we intended, okay, somebody plans to enter into a market, export market. Say somebody wants to go to Southeast Asia, they want to test out, they are into consumer products, so they want to test out the market, so therefore they want capital goods. They will import, manufacture here and export it to that country. It might have so happened that the plans got changed, that they will not be in a position to sell in that market, but they have imported capital goods. Okay, so the export, this is it is called an export obligation. Whatever 6 times point which I said, it is called an obligation. So that will be considered only if I am exporting that same ABC products. If I am exporting using it for some other thing, they will not consider it. So that's a stringent condition. So nexus is like mandatory. So you have to utilize it for the same output.
So 100% you have to export?
No, not 100%. See, we'll have to, you can quickly see the illustration, you'll understand. So, so suppose if somebody has exported a product and the customs duty they saved on account of importing under EPCG is 1 crore. So the condition is that their exports value, they have to export goods or services worth 6 crores in next 6 years. Assume they have got it today, next 6 years, they have to achieve export turnover of 6 crores. Okay, they can have domestic turnover also, that is different, but minimum they have to do this. Apart from that, assuming they have, say they are exporter already, their monthly average export, annual average export is 2 crores. Even without this scheme, they are normally doing export. So they have to maintain it. So because of this scheme, incremental, what is the export you are making, that only will help consider. Previous thing also you have to maintain. So in this illustration, if somebody exports are 2 crores per year before taking the scheme, they have to maintain the 2 crores per year and achieve this 6 crores, which is 6 times of the duty saved. So overall, so if you take 6 years, their export should be minimum this much. 2 crores, which is their already average, previously whatever, their performance should improve. They cannot claim benefit for the previous performance. So their performance incrementally should improve. That 2 crores into 6 and the 6 crores which is relating to this thing, the actual capital.
Sir, I have one doubt. See, I have a machinery and I am doing exports. As for example 2 crores per year, per month I am doing 2 crores. Now that machinery has some problem, I kept out. I scrapped it. Now again, immediately I imported. So because of this new machinery, I am doing this new 2 crore turnover again. Compare average
Import was only for replacement. Import was only for the existing equipment replacement. So there is no increase in the export. The same amount of same volume of the export is happening. Suppose I was using existing domestic equipment and that was not working. So he replaced the existing with the imported capital goods equipment. And now the export turnover remains the same.
Export turnover remains the same. See, while so this specific, this is the average thing is called average export obligation. That is the terms which are used. And then this 6 crores is specific obligation in this case. So average obligation will be determined based on the past performance. In case you want get this tweaked or anything, we'll have to make a separate request. But to my mind, we may not get a benefit for that. I'll have to check this. I'm not sure about it. But average export, the previous performance has to be maintained. As far as this point, I will check. Same thing, there is a similar thing, this is for capital goods. So we can get capital goods without paying customs duty, subject to we export some value, which is 6 times. Advance authorization. Conditions are similar. The only thing is we get timeline of 18 months here. Within 18 months, the obligation period is typically 18 months. Again, there are variations to it depending upon industry, etc. Some is gems and jewelry, various industry, various periods are there, but the majority of them 18 months period. The other thing is that when we are importing raw material, there is a thing that say we are importing raw material worth $1 lakh, so there should be a value addition, otherwise what is the point of giving exemption? So the minimum value addition is 15%. So if we are importing $1 lakh, our value addition should be minimum 15%. So our export value should be again 1.15 crores. Then while giving that permission, they will take into consideration if there is any wastage, etc., like input-output ratio they take. So based on that, what is, say for producing 100 units, how many units of your RM is required, that wastage, etc., also they calculate. Based on that, they will give the permission. Then on the value what we have imported, there should be a value addition of, minimum value addition of 15%. So in both cases, we will get a license, and then after exporting, we have to file an application saying we have exported as per this license. These are the details. So you have to give the actual export invoices, bill of this DRC, all of it, so that they will this license will be closed. So in foreign trade policy, there is a stringent provision which says that if there is a violation, they can levy a penalty as high as 500% of value of goods involved. So that's a big thing, but usually they will not charge that much, but that provision is there. 5 times the value of goods, that is the provision which says that. So foreign trade policy, there is it is governed by FTDR Act, Foreign Trade Development and Regulation Act. Deemed exports, basically if we supply within the country, also we can claim some certain refunds. Say if we are saying both of, so deemed exports is defined both under GST law and foreign trade policy. Both of them meant the same thing. You supply to specific customers, I will give you some benefits even though you are not exporting. Under GST law says that if you supply to somebody who is holding advance authorization or EPCG, which we discussed now, or somebody who is EOU, or supply of gold by a bank to a advance authorization holder. Anyway, so overall, if you are supplying to EOU, advance authorization holder or EPCG, you will get deemed export benefit under GST law. So what does that mean is that you can get refund of GST. That refund. So the moment you supply to advance authorization holder, EPCG holder or EOU, the GST, whatever you pay to the government, that can be claimed as refund either by your customer or the supplier, basically. But it involves a procedure, you have to file documents, etc. But this option is there. And similarly, under foreign trade policy also, if somebody is supplying to these guys, slightly the scope is wide here. Even if somebody is applying to EHTP, Electronic Hardware Technology Park, or STPI, Software Technology Park, or to projects which are governed by funded multilateral agencies. Typically, all this metro rail, all these big infrastructure projects are invariably get funded by these guys. So therefore, if you are supplying to them, you can claim deemed export benefit under foreign trade policy. Under foreign trade policy, deemed export benefit is basically you will get, again, you can get EPCG even though you are not supplying, you are not exporting. EPCG, so for supplying to, so they say that infrastructure project within the country, I need a big, say somebody has got a big road contract. So for laying the road, all that, they usually buy from foreign countries. So for that, they can import under EPCG. Even though they don't have exports, they can import under EPCG without paying customs. Similarly, the raw materials, if any required also, they can under advance authorization. Then they can claim drawback also, duty drawback also. So briefly, one example, suppose if there is two companies are there, ABC and XYZ. Say they are manufacturing and they are supplying to same EOU, ABC and XYZ. Under, so assuming ABC Limited has availed, they intended to avail benefits under FTP. So under foreign trade policy, for supplying to this EOU, they can procure raw material without paying customs duty under advance authorization. Okay, or they can import capital goods also. Then the other things, duty drawback, terminal excise duty benefit. Suppose if there is another company called XYZ, they are selling it to the same EOU. Okay, then so they are intending to claim under GST law. So they can claim under GST law, which is basically the GST which you pay on your transaction, the sale value, you can claim as refund. If you see, FTP takes care of your input side, GST takes care of your output side, and both can be clubbed and both can be claimed. So these are not mutually exclusive because these are addressing two different things. So FTP is taking care of your input side, inputs which are getting into your manufactured products, and whereas GST law is taking care of your GST which is paid on the transaction value. So, and the key condition for both of them is that the goods should be manufactured in the country. So that's the main thing. Like if you are doing trading, if you are importing from some other country and then you are supplying, then you will not get this benefit.